Hello, my name is George Sala. I am the Superintendent of Public Works, and this is Jim Boyle. Jim has been placed in charge of the recycling and the distribution of the carts for the single stream curbside pickup. I just wanted to give you an update on where we are with the curbside pickup. We were here back in the spring introducing the curbside pickup, and I wanted to give you a little brief update as to where we are and go over some items that might be helpful to you out there. First of all, I'd like to give congratulations and thanks to the residents of the town of Bourne for their participation with the recycling and curbside collection. If you recall, our original purpose of starting the curbside collection single stream was to remove the recyclables from the landfill in trash. I think we have done that. I am proud to announce that when we first started this, we were at roughly at 18%. Today, we are at 37%. So we've almost close to doubled our recyclable curbside. I just want to go over a couple different items that we want to discuss. I have in front of me the policy that everybody has received when the carts were distributed. So I'd like to go over some of these items with you. And I know there's been a lot of concern that if you do not put out your recyclables carts on a weekly basis, that you would be fined or would get in trouble. That's not to be the case. If there is not enough recyclables to be put out at curbside at this one particular week, you're more than welcome to hold it to the second week. There's no sense in putting it out there if there isn't anything in there.
I agree with that because what happens with our new automated system is it takes the same amount of time to lift up nothing in a bin as it does a full bin. So it helps our department if you can go and fill the bin and put it out when you want, and you won't get penalized for it.
Right. See, and that was one of the biggest concerns that the residents did have. They felt that they were going to get in trouble, and that is not to be the case whatsoever. The other issue that we have is damaged carts, and I'm going to have Jimmy explain the process with the damaged carts on how you would be able to report an incident, where it would get repaired, and what our procedures are to be followed with that.
So depending on the damage, if it's multiple damage by an automobile, then it's to be determined. But if it's a pin,
Cover.
like a cover, or a pin to the cover, or a wheel, we can go and repair that. So the process that we use is you call the Department of Public Works, you leave, if you don't get a physical person, you leave your name, your address, and a phone number. What happened was when we started going and distributing the carts, there were so many people calling, some of the people didn't leave their address and phone number. So they would call back and say that they had already called, where we couldn't go and figure out who the person was that called. So if you can just do that, that would help the department.
Okay. Some inside of our policy, it also shows what items are able to be recycled. And at this time, Jimmy has brought some of the do's and don'ts of what will be acceptable at the recyclable part of this curbside and what is not to be put into the trash. So Jimmy, why don't we show them a couple of these items?
So what we have here is we have cardboard. You can go and put this in the bin as long as it's small in size or cut up. We do have issues with large boxes, large amounts. You can only put what you can fit into the bin. So if it's outside the bin, normally we won't go and pick it up. Like if you get like a refrigerator box, that's something that's really hard for us to process. We'd rather have you bring it to the landfill.
And can I piggyback off that for
Sure.
a minute? The other issue that we are having problems with as far as cardboard is that people are using the cardboard still as a trash bin, and they're putting trash inside the cardboard, which makes it much more difficult for us with the new style of trucks that we have. I will be showing, we're going to show you a little video in regards to how these trucks work, but that will be in a few minutes. But I just want to make sure that they understand that they have to break down the cardboard
Right.
because of the size of the trucks now.
Yeah, absolutely. So paper bag products, any type of paper, newspaper, magazines, all these can go. Chipboard, paperboard. The only thing that is in paper form that we don't want is shredded paper, because it messes up the machinery at the MRF, which is a materials recycling facility. They have issues with that, with the rollers and everything else. So if you can just take that stuff and rip it up the way you want, but the shredding is a difficult process. So here's some other things. Another thing that happened as a result of single stream recycling is we now go and take both 1s, 2s, and 3 through 7s. The only thing that we don't take, which I'll go to after, you can go and recycle Coke bottles. Then all types of glass. I only have 1 glass bottle, but you can go and, as long as it's in bottle or jar form, we'll go and recycle it. You can't throw pane glass in, mirrors, car windshields. It doesn't work with this type of glass. And then the final items that I have is aluminum and tin cans. So you can go and recycle those. And what you want to go and do with the recycling is you want to go and clean everything. So I had a resident discuss with me when I went out for a complaint, and they mentioned that they were getting like flies around. So if you rinse it, you won't get the flies. But the other thing that I wanted to mention, George, was that people put food products out, which are whole cans of vegetables and that stuff. If you're going to go and get rid of it, you have to properly dump the vegetables or the liquid or whatever out. And then there's a couple other things. We do go and take pizza boxes, but they have to be clean. The milk containers we do go and take now. And then I'll go over the don'ts. So I have don'ts. Now these don'ts, some are for recycling and some are for rubbish. For right now, anything that's in a plastic bag, if it's rubbish, it can go into a plastic bag. But you don't want to use a plastic bag like this to put all your recycling in. They really don't want you to go and use that at the facility that we're delivering this stuff to. So with these plastic bags at the current time, you can go and take them to any grocery store or anybody that will go and take this type of bag for now. But I've discussed with different people about the recycling these type of things. So these here are items that are banned from both rubbish and recycling. This is a propane tank. What it poses is a threat. If it has some sort of liquid in it, our process of going and using the sanitation trucks, it's constantly a moving system. So it has like a foot that pushes this stuff through. What it will do is it will shear this container and make it so that it could catch on fire, it could explode. So we want to go and keep these out. This is an item that we want to go and send to the landfill over at the drop-off center. Some other things that we have here, wood. Wood, we really don't want wood in the rubbish container, which has the black cover, and we certainly don't want it in the recycling. In instances, you go and you look and you have such a large barrel and you figure you can go and put anything in it, but the wood you can bring over to the landfill with a landfill sticker. Another thing that we have here, this is just a piece of metal, but I went out on one of the rubbish trucks about a week ago, and what I've noticed is people are trying to go and throw metal in there. What this poses is a threat, again, to the rubbish trucks that we're picking up. This object, if it's even thicker than this one, can go through the side of one of our packers and cause great damage.
Right.
And this is a battery. We've had batteries go through. Batteries are actually banned. You can actually recycle these over it. This is a lead acid battery. There's NiCad batteries, which are your ear devices.
Hearing aid.
Hearing aids, thank you. And anything that is like a button battery. And those go over into a special part of the iSwim drop-off center. And you can just talk to one of the guys over there. This is just a small primer sealer, but anything that is a paint, a liquid like a lacquer, all those are banned. And we don't want any of that going in there. The iSwim department has a paint shed. You have to call for information about how long they're open till. And we also have a variety of collections that you can go and have hazardous waste go to.
Of course, you can also go on the website to get the information from iSwim, and their contact information is online, so you'll be able to do that without any issue.
And then the last thing that I have here is a mercury switch, which contains mercury. So what you want to do is, this is another item that you don't want to go and put in the trash. So it does. I know that we have a lined landfill here in Bourne, but we just don't want to have stuff like this. Fluorescent light bulbs is another thing that we don't want to have people putting out for disposal or in the recycling. So if you can, just bring it over to the drop-off center. Some of the other things that we've seen is, and I don't have them here, but hoses. Yep, styrofoam is a big thing. Electronic waste, no toys. Toys get in there, no K-cups. Now
the K-cups are the little coffee cups that we had, everybody I'm sure has at home.
Right.
And they're not allowed to go into the recycling.
Correct.
They are trash.
Correct.
Okay. So to recap basically everything you just said, we actually have it all in the policy. The other thing is that we're having problems with out there, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that we've seen over the last few months on some of the problems that we're having. And so all the items that Jimmy just mentioned are actually in the policy that was handed out. The popcorn
Oh yeah, the popcorn.
package that we get packaged shipments from, say, Federal Express or UPS. Well, the shipper puts in packing.
Yeah, they put in the popcorn.
And what happens is, when they go to dump it, on a windy day, it's all over the neighborhood.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we're asking that those get put into the trash and not the recyclables.
And not loose.
And not loose, right.
Yeah.
So going on with a couple of other things that some of the other problems that we are seeing, and you can help me with this, that I'm hearing, you got residents that are, when one of the policies are we're not to be putting the carts out prior to 5 p.m. the night before your scheduled delivery pickup. So with that, the reason why we did that is we were having problems with like rental properties, summer homes, that they are leaving on a Sunday. They put out their trash and recyclable on Sunday night before they left, and then their pickup is until Wednesday or Thursday.
Right.
And what was happening is the birds and the animals were getting into it, and it becomes a trash litter issue, also becomes a nuisance for the neighborhood. So that is one of the reasons why we actually put that policy in place, is to help the litter and help the neighborhoods. The other thing too is that we've received phone calls in regards to people leaving the trash bins out at the roadside. What we're asking people to do is to remove them off the road edge and put them out of the easement or the road layout. That way no damage could happen, especially come this winter with the plows and stuff like that. So we're asking that people keep the trash bins off the road layout and put it back into their property a little more. Because some people that have called, I'm looking at my neighbor's 2 blue bins. Is there anything you can do to help me with that? I don't want to, but that has become one of the other problem.
And then hidden bins, believe it or not. You go and you have these bins that are so large, but if they're behind a group of trees or behind a car, our staff can't see them.
Right. And some of the other things that we're really having concerns with is the blue bins that are bigger, and everybody thinks that they can put anything they want into it. We've had car parts put into it. We've had fish carcasses. We've had yard waste. The trash containers are really meant for household trash, and you don't want to see car parts in it.
No.
The other day we had someone that had found a barrel that had 3 or 4 bags of cement. You're more than welcome to bring it to the landfill. They have places over there for those items. So we really don't want to see them in the trash bins. If they do see them, they will leave. They will not pick it up. They'll leave it behind. Any other problems? I mean, you usually field the calls too.
Yeah, and with the weight and everything, which George just brought up, what it does is it puts stress on the bottom pin. It's like a gray pin, and those pins have been popping out. And, and it's because of a weight issue or whatever, and we're going to have to address that.
And the other issue overall, this whole program has been very successful. I can say, I'm going to use Selectman Mealy's comments, that we are actually a victim of our own success with this. And you guys all should be proud of that, because like I said earlier in the show, our recycling numbers have climbed.
Certainly.
Our trash numbers have been reduced of what we're actually putting into the landfill. So like I said, we are a victim of our own success. And with that being said, everybody should be proud, because I know we are.
Oh, definitely.
We're having it's a learning curve for all of us. So there's still some kinks that are got to be worked out. Back in the spring when we were here, I actually said that we were going to review in 6 months, go over all our problems, our policies. We'll be doing some amendments to the policies for curbside. So that will all be coming up. But I want to get into, did we already discuss damages or how we're going to report them?
Yeah, I discussed damage, but One thing I'd like to go and do is maybe, which I didn't go and touch on, is depending on the amount of damage. If it's a small bit of damage, the people will contact us.
Right. I think the process the process is, if you have a problem with your bins or your carts, you are to call the DPW office. And I know there's been a lot of complaints that we feel that you can't get a hold of the DPW office. It's a new phone system, so we're trying to work that out. But if you call the 508-759-0600 and then hit number 3, they'll give you 3 options. Option 1 is for recycling and curbside complaints. Number 2 is for other work requests, such as tree damage, drainage, and stuff. And if you want to speak with a person, you hit number 3. If you want to talk to somebody, I would suggest that you hit the number 3. You will talk to a live person at that time. Or if you're just wishing to leave a complaint in regards to trash and recycling, please hit number 1, and somebody will get back to you. Jimmy, myself, Michelle, Matt, we all will return your calls and get back to you on that. But I think what we need to do is, if you have a problem with the carts, call, ask for a work complaint. You got damaged carts. What we'll do is Jimmy or Matt will go out there, look at the damage, assess it. We leave you another cart. If we take your cart, we will leave a replacement cart. But the cart will then be, your original cart that got damaged will be brought back to you. Another thing in regards to carts, and I know I'm jumping around, but I want to touch on this, is we're having problems with people taking carts. If you sell your home, the carts are to stay with the home. Those carts are the property owner they belong with the owner of the property. So if you sell your house or you move, the carts will stay with the house. We're having problems with people moving and taking carts with them.
We certainly are.
And the new owners come in and they don't have a cart, and now but the carts belong to the property itself.
And it is a learning process, so we're trying to field different complaints, and we're getting all kinds of complaints, and usually what we'll do is we like to go through the superintendent, George, and he's not always available. He's a very busy man. So if you don't get a call back, you can call back, but just give us a little time, especially when we were just delivering the carts. I mean, we were totally inundated with phone calls. And I mean, it wasn't 30, it was like 400 or 500 calls. And I have to say that the staff did a great job with all those complaints.
I will echo that. I mean, all of you guys did a good job with that. Michelle, Karen, you, Jimmy, Matt.
Yeah.
The phones were ringing, and rightfully so. So I want to give, congratulations to my staff for that. It is well deserved. The other thing that we need to touch on is, when we started this program, we gave a November 11th grace period that we will no longer be picking up anything left outside the blue carts. So there are people right now, residents right now, that are still using their old barrels, still leaving bags outside the bins. As of November 14th is the exact date, which is a Monday, we will not be picking up any items left outside the blue carts. If you have more than what is able to fit in the blue carts, you're more than welcome to go up to the landfill on MacArthur Boulevard and dispose of the extra trash that you have there. But I just wanted to reassure and bring an awareness that we will not be picking any items left outside those carts as of the November 14th. The reason why is that we don't have enough room in there to be able to pick up, and we are on a time issue here.
Right.
So I mean, what doesn't fit in the barrels, we apologize, but we will not be picking it up. With that being said, if you have not received your bins, or you still haven't had any recycling bin or trash bin, please call the office. What we do is we look at it, we go to the assessor's office. We're actually working off the assessor's map,
Right.
meaning we will check with the assessors to make sure that it's a property that it's actually in the town of Bourne, or it's a legal apartment, or we have, during this process found that, there were residents in Plymouth off of Head of the Bay Road that were putting trash out and has received it for years.
A lot of hard to locate. So if you have a home that's hard to locate, like on Head of the Bay Road, I went down and there were different homes that were far in the woods. One, put a number on your home, because I can't deliver if I don't have a number.
Right.
That was a big, big issue. So, or give a brief description of what the home is, where it is, if it's in the woods, because it's really hard to locate some of these homes in this town. It's amazing.
There's a lot of dirt roads and stuff that we don't know about.
Right.
And so there are, like I just said, there were homes that we were picking up, and wasn't aware that they were in the town of Plymouth, and that was mainly on Head of the Bay Road.
Right.
So, and they no longer receive the curbside pickup. So.
And then there's going to be a list. There's going to be a list of different streets and roads that we're not going to go and pick up.
Right. And touching on that, Jimmy just brought up, there are streets in the town of Bourne, or roads in the town of Bourne, that we are unable to accommodate by the size of the trucks, or that their roads are brushed in, they're narrow. So any road that we are unable to service, we are giving them the address in the road name to Dan or Phil over at the iSwim office, and at which time they will then issue a free landfill pass. So any homes that we're unable to accommodate, or any roads that we're unable to accommodate, will be entitled to a landfill sticker. But let me also explain that if you chose not to participate in this program of curbside collection, which we've had quite a few people that have returned their bins, they would rather take their items to the landfill, so they are not entitled to a sticker.
Right.
So we are getting people that are saying, well, I turn my bins in, I want a free sticker. That is not how this works. It works as if we cannot service your road due to us not being able to fit down there, or work, that's where the free stickers come into play. There are some other things that were callbacks. Years ago, we used to be able to, you call back and say the gentleman's missed your trash or your recycling. We're not going to be able to come back to pick up any late put-outs, or if trash is supposed to be out and recycle is supposed to be out at 7 a.m. I understand that, we may not pick it up to 2 o'clock. You may get that that resident that will put it out at 12 because it never gets picked up to 2. But what we're asking is that you please put it out at 7 a.m. because if we have extra trucks, we put extra trucks out to try to take the curse off, the guys, and that way we won't be coming back. So
Right.
we won't be doing any callbacks, and we've tried to get away with that over the last couple of years anyways. I have, think of some other things, Jimmy, that we have having problems with.
We went over the house sales.
Yep.
Yep, we did that.
The other thing is, I know there's been requests on the scenic highway, having trash and recyclable picked up on the scenic highway. We will not pick up trash and recycling on the scenic highway. They will be entitled to be able to obtain a landfill sticker because of the safety issue of the truck stopping on a highway doing 50 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
So we will not be able to accommodate trash pickup for those residents that live off of scenic highway. So I just want to show you a little video clip of how the new trucks work, and it'll give you a demonstration on how these trucks work. So right now I'd like to show you a little video with that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know these guys work real hard out there, so I like to thank my personnel for the hard work that they do. So I like to just touch on some more little problems or helpful hints that we can have. I wish we maybe sometime had a call in, but like years
Right.
ago, but we don't have that ability. But if you have any complaints or you have any requests that you would like to discuss, we're more than welcome to meet with you. You can come up to our new facility located at 35 Ernest Valeri Drive, which is right next door to the Bournedale Elementary School. So please feel free to come in. We'll be glad to talk to you. If you want a tour of the building, we'd be more than glad to give you a tour of the building. All the guys and women are very happy to be in the new facilities, so it works out much better for us.
Certainly does, a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
A couple things that I actually forgot as being recycling waste. One of them is leaves and brush. That's
Right.
something that is recyclable, but over at the drop-off center only. We have a tendency to have people, they figure they have enough room in the bin and they like to throw it in, but the eventual area that it goes to is in the landfill. So we have recycling of leaf waste and brush for a reason, so that we can keep it out of the landfill, extend the landfill life. And then the other thing that I had noticed that was in there was clothing waste.
Right.
So what's happening is people are just bagging up clothing that they're doing household clean outs or whatever, and they're putting the clothing in there, which is recyclable over at the drop-off center. There's a variety of clothing boxes all over town that they can go and utilize.
Good. So basically, to recap some of the stuff that we've already gone over, like I stated earlier, we are definitely a victim of our own success. We actually are very proud of the numbers that are out there right now, especially with the recycling numbers.
It's been phenomenal.
And,
phenomenal.
and But we're also here to help the residents to make this process easier. So please don't feel bad, or please call us. We will be glad to help you. But I just wanted to emphasize the fact that the deadline is coming close, and that's why we wanted to give you an update. We have found some businesses that are still putting out the trash and the recycling. If there's an apartments that are located over the businesses, and they're still putting out their regular trash bins, need to contact us. If they're an illegal apartment, or if they're legal, we will be glad to give you bins. So, like I said, to recap, I really want to emphasize, if you haven't received your bins and you want to participate in the program, please call us. We will be glad to help you. That Jimmy will be distributed.
Yeah, it's very, very important that you do it as soon as possible, or otherwise we're going to have what I call the third wave. So you're going to have all these apartments, 4 units and under, individual homes that we couldn't locate, and I'm just going by the number of bins that we actually have at our site.
Right.
So
Let's touch on the 4 units or less. There are units in the town that apartment buildings that have greater than 4 units. They are not part of this curbside recycling. So if you live in one of those apartments that have 4 or more units, and you've been receiving your trash, I would contact the owner of the property and ask them what they plan on doing after the 11th
right.
of November, or you can bring it into the landfill once again. I mean, the landfill will be always, landfill's open. You have to call them or look on their webpage to find their hours. But if you're unable to receive trash pickup due to the fact that you have more than 4 units, you can either bring it to the landfill or, like I just said, contact the owner of the property, ask him if he plans on putting out a bin to accommodate your trash or recyclable.
And the other thing that we didn't touch on is holidays. We have an issue with the holidays. We have a lot of holidays where we have people putting their containers out on Monday, and what we have is a policy on certain holidays, all holidays really, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which you can find on the website.
For years, we've always, whenever a holiday falls on a Monday, everything gets pushed back a day. So Monday now becomes Tuesday, and Tuesday becomes Wednesday, so it goes right down the list. That we've always done. So I want people to understand that when there's a holiday, please look on our webpage. We'll be glad to, we show when we're picking it up. So
Right.
if you fall on a holiday, week, everything is delayed by 1 day.
Right.
Okay. If a holiday falls on a Friday, such as this upcoming Veterans Day, that will not affect any curbside pickup at that time.
Right.
So, I think we pretty much covered everything. We may have forgot something, but we're going to be doing these shows periodically to continue with what we're finding out here, how we could help you, and how you can help us. So we'll be continuing doing these shows. Jimmy may be here. Next time might be Jimmy and someone else, or,
Yeah,
or
you
vice
never know.
versa. So I want to thank everybody for listening to us. And once again, if there's anything that we could do to assist you, please feel free to give us a call. And thank you for your participation within the curbside recycling. Is there anything you'd like to say?
The only thing I'd like to go and say is that America's Recycles Day will be celebrated on Saturday, November 12th,
Yes,
9 to 12
Yes.
at the drop-off center
Located at the landfill.
at the landfill at 201 MacArthur Boulevard.
So once again, thank you, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.